Listen, y'all already know I'm not the biggest fan of this man, Emmett, but he definitely did not deserve what he got in this past episode of the show. I'm just gonna get right into the recap. So if you like anything I gotta say at all in this video, you already know what you gotta do. Like, comment, share, subscribe, do all those things. And let's just talk about this episode of the show real quick. Now, before I even watched this episode, I was already well in the know on what happened to Emmett. TikTok, please chill. I appreciate y'all messing with my last post, but let me watch the episode before y'all just get in the comments spoiling, please. But that said though, I do gotta big myself up at least a little bit. In case you've been under a rock, I did have the theory that Damon would be the reason for Emmett crashing out on Reg the way he was in that trailer. And we see that he in fact was. Because for whatever reason, Damien, knowing he did not have the money to pay Reg back on this dumb bet he was placing, still decides to place the bet anyway. Mind you, Hannibal's in his ear yet again trying to talk this man down from taking the bet with Reg. Wanna hear a crazy statistic though? This is the third time in 3 consecutive episodes that this man Hannibal has tried to save Damien from making a terrible decision. Season 7, episode 6, when they're up in the spades game, Hannibal tells him, bro, don't put no more cash in, we're good. Damien felt disrespected, he got called a nerd, he doubles up on the money, and he ends up losing out on that bread that he was supposed to pay back to Hannibal. Season 7, episode 7 comes, Damien brings the bread that he owes Hannibal to Jake's crib. Reg is there, they get to talking about gambling. Hannibal says to Damien, hey, maybe don't talk about gambling in front of this guy. This is not a guy you want to be having a conversation with like this. He knows Reg, that's his boy. But Damien yet again cannot seem to help himself but talk about his gambling experience. And yet again, in this episode, season 7, episode 8, Reg is asking Damien throwback Bulls questions, shout out MJ, trying to see if he slips up, but he's actually rattling all his knowledge off the dome. Reg is tight because he's answering all his questions accurately, so he bets 5 racks on this one question. And once again, Hannibal tells him, listen, don't make this bet. But you know Damien can't resist, he got that addiction. They bet on what MJ's flu game box score was. Damien's off by literally 1 steal, and now he owes Reg 5 racks just like that. Mind you, no negotiations were set before he accepted this bet. So now he got to come up with that 5 racks by tomorrow. Mind you, he probably just paid Hannibal that 3 racks just the other day. So knowing he can't go to Emmett, he goes to all the other characters on the cast for this bread. My son hits Bakari, he hits his stepmom Jada, who is sick by the way, who could use this money if there's an operation that could potentially save her life. And he even goes to Dom for Iraq, who is dealing with a whole recovering husband right now, and has to take care of Lene. Like, this gambling shit is so serious. There's one thing I can credit the Shy for is how serious they're taking addiction in these episodes. Like, they're not holding anything back. At long last though, Damien is able to scrounge up $4,000, so obviously he's short when he brings the money to Reg. So as promised, if you don't got my full 5 racks, I'm gonna beat your ass. Reg wastes no time. He puts the hands on Damien immediately. My brother Damien started drawing blood off the first punch. It was that bad. I would hope after an ass beating like this, Damien would really try to change his ways. See, at the beginning of this episode, Darnell takes him to the center to start the healing process, but he's clearly not taking it serious because 2.5 after he's out of that session, he's out here fucking with Karuchi, which I really hope was just a one-off. Like, why even have her on the show, much less to fill this role? But knowing the Shy, she's probably gonna come back in some capacity. That cast is a revolving door. I know y'all peep Kenya came back in this episode. She's probably here to stay too. Anyway, Damien goes to Emmett's crib after Emmett then had the longest day already. Now props to Emmett in this episode though, because he was moving like the dad of the year. He was out here tucking EJ in, cleaning around the house. I was proud of bro. Then Trig came over and effed all the money up. Shaw tells Trig, yo, you should ask Emmett for permission to take out Tiff. I don't know, I don't got no baby mom, so I can't really speak to this, but I don't think Tiff is Emmett's property. So in my opinion, I feel like Trig just went over to Emmett's crib and just effed up bro's whole day. Because Emmett feels like all his baby moms are his. Why would anybody else want to F with his baby mom? Even though Rob was literally messing with his baby mom last season. And the season before that. But I guess because it's Trig and Emmett already thought Nuck was trying to mess with Tiff, it's more personal. Anyway, neither here nor there, Emmett puts his face to the bottle and Damien comes over to the crib. And after Damien tells Emmett what happens, Emmett immediately rushes over to Jake's crib to confront Reg. Reg opens the door, they get into a scuffle. Emmett is actually putting the beats on my son Reg. He got some clean hits in, but you know Reg don't go nowhere without that piece. While Emmett's on top of him, no pause, he shoots this man in the chest. I'm not no doctor, no PA, no nurse, but I don't think that side of his chest is where his heart's located. And I also don't think the plot is ready to see the Shy without Emmett. So I do think he's going to survive this shooting, but in terms of what it means for Reg, it's so crazy because you see Toussaint trying to form this partnership with Nuck in order to get Reg off the streets, but he's doing it to himself. The only way I could see Reg make it to the end of the season a free man at this point is if Emmett remains in a coma for the rest of this season somehow. I don't know. Until I hear what the nurses are saying in this next episode, I'm going to hold out hope that Emmett is going to regain consciousness in this season. If Jamal did, I'm sure Emmett will too, and Emmett will probably have a new perspective perspective once he wakes up. Obviously seeing that he's not as safe as he once thought he was. I don't know, bro. I just feel most bad for Darnell right now. My man got to deal with a son with a gambling addiction, a wife who's potentially knocking on death's door, unfortunately, and a son who just got shot. Like, come on, you can't make this shit up. On top of that, when the last time you see my son wearing his earpiece? He's not well. I like seeing Darnell take some things away from the grieving partner circle that they had at the same center Damon was at, because obviously he's preparing for the worst. But I do like what the lady told him before he left, which is so true, that the doctors don't have the last say, it's God who does. I hope for the sake of Darnell, Emmett, and the plot that the gods of the Shire are willing to extend Jada's life to see the end of this series, because once again, I just don't see the point in offering her. It just don't really make sense to me. We already got enough tragic shit going on in the Shire now for us to have to experience that. Other than what I mentioned already, it wasn't really much else crazy going on in this episode. I got a whole video on Tiff that I plan on dropping for y'all this week, so don't worry, we're gonna talk about her and her activities this season, or lack thereof. But outside of what I spoke on, Keisha held this queen circle or women's circle that Tracy attended. Shout out to Tracy for showing up for her 3rd episode in this 8-episode season. We getting rid of all these characters in this series. Why does Tracy still have a place here? I'm just trying to figure that out. He literally has not done anything of note since like season 4 or season 5 of the Shire. It's actually ridiculous. See Dwayne Wayne meeting up with this professor. They're discussing Makari's grades. They're not the best. She's talking to him about he needs to be a good representation of you. He needs to be an excellent candidate. So I guess we're gonna get more on that storyline in this next episode, I'm assuming. See Alicia briefly in this episode, thank God. Oh, and like I said, Kenny came back, so you know Kenny and Papa linked up. It was cute, I guess, until Papa went to visit Kenya's family. And tell me why the pastor's ex-wife's mom is exposing all their business. We already know the pastor's with a white woman right now, but apparently his ex-wife cheated on him back in the day. She's using that as a flex some way, somehow. I don't understand. Or do I care to really talk about it? So yeah, we're just gonna end the recap there. Tragic episode. We put my boy Emmett as the poster again real quick before I end this video. I'll leave y'all thoughts in the comments. Is Emmett surviving this encounter with Red? Will Damien finally take these classes seriously? And how is Darnell gonna take all of this news hitting him left and right? How much longer will Reg be a free man for? Is Nuck really about to start working with the feds? Will Tracy get more screen time this season? Do we even care at this point? Y'all already know what y'all gotta do, man. Sign off in the comments. I've been your boy J Suave. I hope you been entertained, and we gonna talk soon. Peace, y'all.